one of you for today's webinar. First, all is well and hope that you and your family are staying safe. The theme for today's session is smart interiors, and our partner for this session is Amulya Maika. The session is being moderated by Mr. Ashish Puri, Director, Interior Design Services, Colliers International. And joining him on the panel are Ms. Santa Go, Principal, Infinity Design Studio, Ms. Sonali Bhagwati, President, Design Plus Architecture, Mr. Ravindra Kumar, Head Design, BA Group, joining shortly, Mr. Mahesh Punjabi, CEO, Mahesh Punjabi Associates, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal, Managing Director, Amulya Maika, Shailja Agarwal, Director Marketing, Amulya Maika. Introducing our partners, Amulya Maika. Amulya Maika is one of the fastest growing decorative laminates, lead-free and PVC board and plywood brands in India, a brand owned by Purvanchal Laminates Private Limited. Today, Amulya Maika is a government recognized star export house, a renowned name in the laminates industry, and is emerging as one of the major players in the global market. With its presence in more than 24 countries and can boast of more than 70 distributors, 300 dealers, and a sales team of 150 plus pan India. All the Amulya Maika products are environmental friendly and inherently are produced with low emission and low toxicity. Amulya Maika is an organization carries a vision to build an extraordinary organization that will create a long-lasting value for its customers, business associates, and contribute towards the Make in India, Skill India mission. Now we would be playing a corporate video. Thank you.
Upale, you need to just check your mic has got some static, I think. Just check, Upale.
Is it better now? Hello?
No, not really.
Yeah, Sushant, we are not able to hear you.
Very strong static. So if you want to ask everybody to repeat also, it would be nice. Because
Shall I repeat? Is it better now?
not at all.
No, yeah, not at all.
About 4% audible, 4 to 5% audible.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
95% audible.
Right, superb. So should I repeat? I'm so sorry. Where did I lost everyone?
Can you start from the beginning?
I think you
from
should
the
start from the
beginning.
beginning.
Sure. Apologies for the same for everyone. Good evening, everyone. Greetings from the Economic Times ACETECH and a warm welcome to each one of you for today's webinar. Trust all is well and hope that you and your families are staying safe. The theme for today's session is Smart Interiors, and our partner for the session is Amulya Maika. The session is being moderated by Mr. Ashish Puri, Director, Interior Design Services, Colliers International. And joining him on the panel are Ms. Santa Gaur, Principal, Infinity Design Studio, Ms. Sonali Bhagwati, President, Design Plus Architecture, Mr. Ravindra Kumar, Head Design, VA Group, joining shortly with us, Mr. Mahesh Punjabi, CEO, Mahesh Punjabi Associates, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal, Managing Director, Amulya Maika, Ms. Shailja Agarwal, Director Marketing, Amulya Maika. Introducing our partners, Amulya Maika. Amulya Maika is one of the fastest growing decorative laminates, lead-free WPC and PVC boards and plywood brand in India, and a brand owned by Purvanchal Laminates Private Limited. Today, Amulya Maika is a government-recognized star export house, a renowned name in the Indian laminates industry, and is emerging as one of the major players in the global market. With its presence more than 24 countries and can boast of more than 70 distributors, 300 dealers, and a sales team of 150 plus pan India. All Amulya products are environment friendly and inherently are produced with improved low emission and low toxicity. Stringent quality controls enable Amulya Maika to provide 7 years and 10 years of warranty to all interior and exterior products respectively. Amulya Maika is an organization carries a vision to build an extraordinary organization that would create a long-lasting value for its customers, business associates, and contribute towards the Make in India, Skill India mission. I would now request the tech team to play a corporate video.
ये कहानी है एक सपने की। सन 1997 में पूर्वी भारत के आंचल से निकला एक सपना पश्चिमी छोर पर स्थित गुजरात की गोद में जा बसा। मानो पहाड़ों को चीरती एक नदी समंदर से जा मिली हो। ये कहानी है उसी सपने की जिसने करोड़ों घरों को बनाया सपनों का मंदिर। ये कहानी है उसी सपने की जिसने ऑफिस को बनाया एक ड्रीम डेस्टिनेशन। स्वप्न दृष्टा श्री राकेश अग्रवाल का ये सपना श्री बनवारीलाल अग्रवाल के मार्गदर्शन में आज उभरा है एक अद्वितीय हकीकत बनकर। अमूल्य घर सजा साथ निभा। वर्ष 2004 में अमूल्य माइका लेमिनेट्स की स्थापना के साथ शुरू हुआ भारत के घर घर को सजाने का एक सफर। 2017 में अमूल्य WTC भी बना इस सफर में साझेदार। चेयरमैन श्री ओम प्रकाश अग्रवाल तथा मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर्स श्री राकेश अग्रवाल, श्री मुकेश अग्रवाल और श्री गिरधारीलाल डोकनिया की लीडरशिप में आज सिर्फ 15 साल की छोटी सी अवधि में अमूल्य बना है लाखों घरों के इंटीरियर्स की जान और हजारों ऑफिसेज की नई पहचान। ये 15 साल पूर्वांचल के लिए था अमूल्य को महज एक स्टार्टअप से लेकर एक ब्रांड के तौर पर स्थापित करने का सफर। कुछ गिने चुने प्रोडक्ट से लेकर 600 डिजाइन्स, और 100 फिनिशेस की क्षमता हासिल करने का सफर। एक छोटी सी वर्कफोर्स से लेकर 29 स्टेट्स, 400 से ज्यादा शहर, 70 डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स, 3000 से ज्यादा डीलर्स, और 130 से ज्यादा सेल्स पर्सन की एक फौज तैयार करने का एक सफर। गांधीधाम की एक छोटी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट से अमूल्य को 20 से ज्यादा देशों तक ले जाने का सफर। आज अमूल्य देश के सबसे तेजी से बढ़ रहे लेमिनेट्स उत्पादों में से एक है। इसीलिए तो भारत सरकार से अमूल्य ने पाया है एक्सपोर्ट हाउस स्टेटस। और तो और आए दिन अमूल्य को मिलते रहते हैं विशेषतम पुरस्कार। और ऐसा हो भी क्यों नहीं, सुपीरियर टेक्नोलॉजी से लेकर ए ग्रेड रॉ मटेरियल, लेमिनेट्स की बेजोड़ क्वालिटी प्रदान करने के लिए प्रोडक्शन के एक एक पहलू पर अमूल्य करता है नो कॉम्प्रोमाइज। पर्यावरण और अपनी कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की ओर भी है अमूल्य पूरी तरह से जागृत। और अमूल्य की सफलता का राज हमारे वर्कर्स, हमारे डीलर्स और हमारे कस्टमर्स का प्यार। उनका प्यार ही तो है जो रहा है हमारी सफलता का सच्चा साझेदार। आइए फिर एक बार एक नई इनिंग्स में फॉर्म करते हैं एक नई पार्टनरशिप।
साथियों, हम निकले थे अकेले, कारवां बनता चला गया। आज मुझे गर्व है कि आप सब भी मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं इस बात पर यकीन रखता हूँ कि यदि आपका साथ मिलता रहा तो हम अपने मंजिल पथ पर बढ़ते चलेंगे, बढ़ते चलेंगे।
आप, हम और अमूल्य, आइए घर बनाएं, घर सजाएं। अमूल्य
I think we've lost audio again.
साथ निभाएं।
Thank you, and we look forward to an eventful and interactive session. Now, without further ado, I hand over the platform to Ms. Shailja Agarwal.
Good evening,
Shailja,
everyone.
over to you.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Shailja Agarwal, on behalf of Amulya Group of Companies and ACETECH, welcome you all to today's webinar. The topic for today's webinar, as we all are aware, is smart interiors. I would not take a lot of time to describe the topic. I would just request all the panel members and Mr. Ashish Puri to continue the discussion today. And I'm very confident that today's discussion will be very enlightening and enriching, looking at the panel members and the architects that we have as our panel members today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shalja, for the introduction. And thanks, Sushant, for the detailed introduction for all of us. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Ashish. I am the moderator for today's session. The topic for today's session is smart interiors. This is something which, we've been discussing, which is always relevant, a topic which is a sort of evergreen, and we have an ocean of experience and experts on the panel, who are going to take up. I'm going to put questions, and then yeah, we're going to get a lot of answers from them. I also encourage participants to send as many questions as possible, and we would be happy to address queries on this subject, which is interesting, intriguing, and then something which everyone's sort of keen about to know. So what we're going to do is, how we're going to probably divide the session is, we're going to have sessions within the overall webinar. And the first session, we're going to talk about health, well-being, and safety in interior design. The other one would be about the innovation and how innovation is changing, the way we design, how the way architects work. So I'll begin the discussion, and introduction of the topic to you. Like I mentioned, smart interiors. Now, the term smart, let me begin with this. The term smart, in simple English, is something which probably looks pretty and is intelligent. Now, in 2020, probably smart has a much wider meaning. So we try to sort of expand the term smart to something, something which is relevant to all of us as the design community. So once you expand, we have sustainable. So that's S, sustainable, modern, adaptive and agile, robust, and tech driven. So these are some of the concepts we've been working around, and we see the future going towards these. And today's discussions would revolve around the new definition of smart as we talk today. To begin the panel discussion, I would go to Santa, and that's going to be the first question for the evening. And this is about, I said, first session is actually going to be about health, well-being, and safety in interiors. So Santa, the first question to you is about wellness. We're going to touch upon wellness, because that's something which is sort of concerning everyone around the globe. So can we safely say that wellness is going to be the next big thing, as the concept, as the idea for interiors, or the architects around the world? And how do you think architects are inculcating wellness in designs? Your thoughts on that? Over to you, Santa.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much. So, you mentioned the word wellness. In the past 6 months, I think wellness has become synonymous with health, or immunity, or given the COVID scenario. But we are going to obviously move away from the COVID scenario in a few months, or a year at the most. And then wellness will be not only just about health, it is about your physical well being, it is about your spiritual well being, it is about your emotional well being, right? So, wellness as a whole, I think, is about the balance in a person's life. It encompasses all the, phases, or all the aspects of a person's daily, in the day, what all they go through. Uh, Given that we come into workspaces, I really feel that a person spends nearly at least 8 hours in an office space, at least, and sometimes much more. I think they spend way more time in offices than they do at residences. So definitely architects should look at wellness, but not only just from the health aspect, how not
Absolutely.
just making surfaces antiviral or antibacterial. It's the overall thing, the environment, how they can keep people much more, active, much more, not healthier really, given a social scenario, how they can interact with their other people, how they can be better at their work, how they are happy just being in a workspace. So it's the entire gamut of emotions that wellness brings into being. And of course, architects have the way of translating all that to a 3D space. Much more, I think I can go on speaking later of how we translate it, whether it is an ergonomical chair or a desk or the carpets that have biocides, the filters in the AC that promote, a cleaner air, plants in the office, so on. There is just so much to it. I'm sure your forthcoming questions, we can detail this out a bit more.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was a wonderful introduction, and you touched upon a lot of aspects of the wellness. And yeah, I like the fact that you mentioned active. I think that's something which is, being active is, it's something which is probably can do wonders to how people they are at work or their residences. So I'll bring Sonali into the discussion now. So Sonali, you know, Santa just spoke about wellness, and it's probably the same question. I'm sort of rephrasing it. So wellness architecture. This is something, a term which we are more likely to hear more often than ever. So what are the ingredients to achieve smart and safe spaces in context to public as well as private spaces? So that's the question. We're taking the concept a little further. We would like to hear your thoughts on this. Sonali, you're on mute.
Yeah. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for having me here. I am going to take this a little bit forward from what Santa said. She was talking about the office space and the environment and the requisite things that we need to do to make it into a very pleasant experience from all points of view, as she just pointed out. What I want to talk about is while the interior part of it will talk about your air quality or your daylight factor, the presence of daylight, the kind of grids that we should have in a building so that daylight permeates through, or a well-lit basements, or, areas where women are feeling safe in any building, the noise level, etc., etc. So these are all the physical and other attributes that will contribute to your workspace or your any space which is within a built environment. I want to take this a step forward, and I want to talk about public spaces. Public spaces is where, when we are coming to work, your experience of coming to work is as important as working, because if coming to work tires you out or completely puts you in a different zone, then you are not going to be able to perform. So the experience on the way to work is as important, and that is where we talk about the public spaces. And that is where I feel we are lacking, or we are wanting in that greatly. According to me, pedestrianization is most important. This is something that we are lacking, something that we are something that we haven't formalized in our urban areas. Safe pedestrian movement without vehicles is something that creates that sense of peace and calmness, where you can walk, you can sort of commute uninterruptedly. You don't have to be jostling for saving your life among a variety of vehicles. Direct and seamless connectivity with mass transit, because today, according to me, in order to reduce the energy footprint, mass transit is the answer. And unless your mass transit is really well connected to your social, your recreational, residential, and commercial hubs, it again falls apart. You can have a great metro ride, but when you come out of the metro, you are in a sea of chaos. And that sort of undoes everything that a good metro ride has done. So it is up to the last mile connectivity that is extremely important to create and complete that experience. Creation of multimodal transport hubs, which facilitates transition from one mode to another mode of transport. Last mile connectivity, as I just said, signage system for easy navigation is very, very important. This is something that we kind of lack. Use of sort of green belts for pedestrian movement. I mean, at least I can talk for Delhi. We have fortunately very large tracts of very nice green areas, but somehow those green areas remain insulated. And we have this urban fabric which doesn't connect with it. And I think that barrier needs to be broken, and the urban fabric and the green areas need to really get interlinked to get the maximum sort of value out of it. Try and create skyways which are smart, which would have its solar panels, Wi-Fi connectivity, rainwater harvesting. So I'm just saying there's a whole gamut of things that we need to look at in order to really alleviate the anxiety and the trauma of our public spaces, our commute to work. And I think that's as important as the physical well-being while being at work. So to put forward.
Yeah, thanks, Sonali, for the wonderful explanation touching upon various facets of the urban architecture and planning, which is sort of lacking in the present context. I think we've come far, but somehow, like you mentioned, pedestrians have remained pedestrians, and there's not much which either the governments have done or the policymakers have done to give them that space, which is very much required. Yes, we do see smart cities coming in, but I think we're still a little far from realization of smart cities in India. Hope that happens soon. Thanks for the wonderful opening remarks for this session. Let's move on to, I'll bring in next speaker into the discussion now. We're moving to Ravindra. Ravindra, you around? Hi, Ravindra. Okay. So I think we will, Mahesh, I'm going to come to you. I think
Sure.
Ravindra is probably having some problems with the connectivity. So Mahesh, I'm coming to you, and then you coming from a vast experience in designing, beautiful houses, large houses, you know, exuberant houses, and we're going to talk about. So we're going to move from the subject of we're talking about the wellness in architecture, and we're going to move towards something specific, which is specific to a material, and we want to hear about wood as a material, which is sort of considered a very sustainable material, something which is which leaves no carbon footprint. And I'm sure with you having worked all across the globe has used this fantastic versatile material. And what we want to know is that what we like to hear from you is that the role of wood and its benefits in achieving versatile and safe design solutions. So what do you see, where do you see the importance of wood as material in interiors? We coming back to interiors now, smart interiors.
Hi, everybody. Please excuse me, I might have a little sore throat.
Oh
I
my
hope
God.
you
I
you
hope
you
you're
managed to
okay.
hear me.
I'm good. I'm good.
I think you got to put on your mask then.
Not seen painting sites for a couple of months. So first time I went to a painting site, this is what happens after months. So you can imagine. So regarding, I'm going to replicate exactly what Sonali said, but on a micro level. She said it
Yeah.
on a macro level, which is the urban infrastructure and the architecture. The same thing on a micro level. Wood has been used for centuries, and it doesn't have any other replacement for it. There is Reliance Wood coming, artificial wood coming. There's a lot of Shera sheets, and there is like Amulya laminate. He said there's a fantastic product which is a lookalike like veneer. It can be done in one day and everything. But the core is wood. The human attachment to that aesthetic is not going. There are PU finishes, flat finishes, glazings, everything. But the core of the richness of timber is not going anywhere. It's been there for centuries in palaces. It started with that. Even today, we address something as solid wood ka hai, one piece hai, book match teak hai, or something like that. So this veneer is from different countries. Now, wood in different countries has different applications. India itself being a vast country, places like Oli, Dehradun, up north, they have timber houses. The application of timber is completely different in Oli because of the insulation and the windows and the temperatures going minus 13 degrees, minus 25 degrees has a completely different application versus in Bombay. Bombay, the application of wood is extremely restricted because of the sea weather, the moisture. Anywhere where you've installed wood and not protected it is susceptible to getting infected, getting pests in it, getting termites, or some kind of breeding ground. You just have to keep wood, moisture, and a little warmth, and this thing, and you're sorted. You are going to get all possible kinds of termites and pesticides in it. So wood in both applications is there. You cannot substitute in Bombay also. You cannot substitute in Oli also.
Oli as well.
Although other areas, now we are getting wood from Canada, Norway, all the pine. There was a time when pine could not be used. It was used strictly for crate packing and packing materials. It was not used. But now we are getting Canadian timber, which is in huge blocks, huge sizes, which is now treated and brought here. So the versatility is increasing, but there is no replacement for it because Burma teak is exhausted. The supply is gone. There were Burma teak structures, the old Kalba Devi buildings, the old buildings of Jaipur and Havelis are all knocking down. Whatever there comes out from there, that's the only Burma teak we are getting. Again, I'm coming. There's no replacement for wood. Reliance is coming out with a substitute for wood called Reliance Wood or something, which is a very decent. Now, Mr. Agarwal's material, it is the closest resemblance to wood. Anything that you can closely resemble to wood is a win-win. And his material is exactly like this. Once installed, I'm not saying it because he's in charge of the event, okay? So once installed, there is absolutely no difference between a veneer skin and a this. And in today's times, it is not advisable to have 10-15 workers coming into your house, doing the spray painting, scraping, everything, and getting the whole procedure. So that's where the sustainable wood comes into the picture. And these kind of products have been there for years. But India being, we don't have a labor shortfall. So we never thought of taking things knockdown condition, taking it factory fitted and, KDC fitting it up on site or anything. Only in the past 8 months have we realized, yeah, chahe bhi to we can't fly down to China to pick up stuff. Things are getting a little more difficult for traveling overseas. So we are finding things locally which are available, but we never explored them, which becomes sustainable. Your carbon footprint is much lesser and everything goes to site in knockdown condition and it gets assembled. So client is happy because not too many workers you're seeing on site and the product is churning out faster. Maybe you take about 90 days at the factory, but once at site, in 90 days, in 15 days, you're giving the delivery. This is our move to sustainability, which has just drastically developed in the past 8 months.
Thanks, Mahesh, for explaining the importance of wood. And I think all of us would agree that wood is irreplaceable. When it comes to its usage in the industry, it's been there for ages, for centuries. I think that probably was one of the first material we started building houses with, and I think it's going to stay forever. And rightly mentioned, it sort of helps in reducing the carbon footprint and all the other things. So thanks for your views. I think Ravindra has joined us back. I think we were having some connectivity issues. Hi, Ravindra.
Hi,
And
hi.
so I'm going to come to you, and we're just going to go back to the discussion before we actually entered into the micro level discussion on the wood. So this is a larger question, Ravindra. We saw what pandemic did to all of us, and everyone around has been talking about the disruptions what pandemic caused. It's actually touched everyone's life, and we can't deny it. Do you think that we as architects are doing enough, or rather, what we are doing to bring back people, as they come back from their houses? Do you think we're doing enough to create or cater to them with spaces, which are safe as they come to their houses to dine, to work, or for entertainment. So, what sort of things you think we guys need to do as architects? I know doctors are doing their job, but yes, of course, we need to do a lot to bring back that confidence in people.
Uh, I think, I mean, as architects, as people in that space of occupation, uh, we are into an imagination kind of a dictum. We are into making places for people to habituate, to give them experience which is timeless. And most of the time, we tend to think that we can propagate a way of life, but I think it's more that we assist life to rejuvenate into joy and into existentialism. So, therefore, there are certain limitations that we can bring about change. I think the only thing that we should do is, as we do energy evaluation, we must try and start thinking loud that over the years from now, how is it that we can make, the architecture that we do more sensible to the pandemic, the future pandemic, to sensitivity of the air, sensitivity to the touch, sensitivity to, practices that can be incorporated into thresholds. So therefore, I think that is very, very important that we need to recognize. I mean, the quality of air that has to be qualified, in the spaces that we do becomes imperative. The nature of air conditioning, for example, the nature of sanitation. I mean, some things you can always propagate as civic sensibility, but most other things, which is not something that is provoked by the individual, must be done as a habitual nature of making into buildings. For example, for many, many years, we've all been very stupid not to propagate radiant cooling, So it's very, very important that we have to kind of recognize the potential of how we can bring about radiant cooling into the system design so that it can be activated for healthy living. The nature of air conditioning system has not changed. The industry has not changed. We've not encouraged the industry to change. How do we encourage 100% air change that can happen in our facilities? So these are some of the very, very pertinent questions that would become important for us to recognize.
So it's probably the right time for us to rethink and reimagine,
Absolutely.
starting the wheel all over again. Thanks for your lovely answer to the question. And I would like to now go to Mr. Agarwal. You heard all the architects talking about their ideas on the topic which we the first subject, which is about the health, well-being, and safety. And Mr. Agarwal, I would like to hear from you on how the industry has sort of responded to the demand which has been created, for more safe and comfortable spaces. Safety has been the biggest thing. First thing people did after the pandemic hit was, go into their comfortable zone. So, how do you think the industry supported this? And do you believe that the events of 2020 will make architects and designers rethink? You know, Ravinda just touched upon some of these points. So yes, we would like to hear from you as the leader of this industry.
Good evening, all. Yes, we all are seeing this. We are all are suffering from this pandemic, COVID period. But definitely, our industry has become more conscious towards developing products which are more eco-friendly. Since that is the need of the hour. Consumer is demanding it, and with growing awareness towards eco-friendly products, green regulations, it is demanding. All are expecting. As a manufacturer, we can assure you that we all are working to develop products like that, which are less harmful to human health, and very sooner the raw material will be replaced, which are less hazardous to human. And with the latest pandemic, industry has become more conscious in even developing every products that do not allow any bacteria and viruses, and even to remain active and breed too. We Amulya in our company already have brought in new technology and have already been lead. We were manufacturing lead-free boards, and our whole range of laminate is been tested from the world's best lab SGS towards antibacterial, and it is being tested for resistance towards many types of bacteria, and it is 100% antibacterial. Since the countries is whole world is changing, and people are expecting that to use more green product, antibacterial product, antivirus product, and I can reassure all the participants, all the fraternities of the architect fraternity, legends architect, that we are struggling hard and we are doing hard to meet their expectation, and we will meet their expectation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your views on this.
In
Shailja,
fact,
I'm going to
Ashish,
come
if
to
I
you.
can add,
Yes, please. Yes.
the
Mahesh.
railways has started, just like buildings had to be LEED certified, the railways has started tendering the bacteria-free surfaces for their, not only for the wagons, but for the canteen and specs also. So wherever there is a contact of human beings, interaction, food, they do not want textured laminates or collecting dirt or anything, but they are using bacteria-free semi-high gloss laminates over there
So the
as a
concept of
standard specification.
that's
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Punjabi sir, it is available.
You've taken up something that I have to speak later, but something that you've already taken up. We have a product that addresses this issue.
No, I think the good thing is that the concept of safety is sort of automatically coming in, and that's a good move. I think, and that's a good thing for all of us. So,
At a
Shailja,
mass level in our country, I think if it's there, how do I put it? If it's already there in the system, it will use it as a hand sanitizer. If you go to an office, it's already there. You have to sanitize and go in. So at a mass level, at such a big scale in our country, if we really have to penetrate deep, it has to be done from the grassroots level. So
Absolutely.
talking about the canteen laminates, touch surfaces, granite finishes, non-textured, leatherite finishes, this is the grassroots level actually, rather than just
right.
paying attention to aesthetics.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your views on this. And I'll go back to Shailja. She wanted to say something, but yeah, Shailja, what I wanted to ask you was, in continuation to what Mr. Agarwal mentioned. So, do you think the industry is moving towards products which are safe, and they support the well-being in interiors? Your take on that as a young leader on the forum.
Yeah. So I will add on to our managing director's point of view only. I will add on from there that not only us as the Amulya group of companies, but the industry as a whole, is moving towards health-friendly product, because of course that's the need of the hour. Everybody needs to move towards health-friendly products. And now talking about our company, we have during this first lockdown that was taken place in April, our R&D team had put in extensive efforts, and they had come up with this. They had put in extreme efforts to develop this technology, which claims our product to be antibacterial, and we are stating our products to be antibacterial amongst our premium product, that is 1.25 thickness. We made that entire range antibacterial, and I'm really amazed and really proud of my R&D team to tell that entire range we are offering at the same rate that we were offering earlier. It's at the same rate, but we've just made it antibacterial. And not only that, we also kind of extended the warranty of our product from 7 to 10 years, which is also done at the price rate is the same, but we've extended the warranty of the product. So this is something that our team has done during this COVID period. And we don't only say that we are antibacterial. Today, anybody can say that they're antibacterial, but we also back it up with two certified laboratory certificates. One of them is SGS, which is a very well-known laboratory in the world. And as far as laminate is concerned, this is the progress that we've done. And also, our company manufactures a product named WPC. The WPC is a product that we manufacture, but the sale of it was at par earlier. But during this COVID period, I must tell you that the sales have increased by 25%. And the reason for it is because this product was already eco-friendly. It was already a green product. This product was already lead free, antibacterial. The current requirement, we were matching it earlier, but I can say that the world is transforming towards health friendly product, and that is the reason I feel the sale of this particular product, the kind of revenue that we get from this product, has increased tremendously during lockdown, because everybody is moving towards health friendly product. And also, I would request my tech team to please play a video of a marketing campaign that we are running right now, that is a healthy lifestyle ke humsafar, that kind of denotes how all our product range has become green and health friendly during this particular period of time. Yeah.
Thanks, Shalaja, for detailed information and the video. I'm sure a lot of audience would love it. So we'll move on to the second session of our discussion now, session two, where we will focus on innovation and sustainability. Then we're going to put, some questions to our panelists, look forward to their responses. This is something, innovation and technology is something which all of us have realized that we can't live without. I mean, it's entered every phase of our lives, and architecture is no different, design is no different. And this is something which probably will take us to the next level. And there's been a lot of discussion around that, sustainability as well as innovation. So we'll cover these topics in this session now. And, we'll start with Ravindra. We'll bring Ravindra into the discussion. So, Ravindra, innovation is the concept which is ever evolving and adaptive. Your thoughts on how innovation is shaping the future of design?
I think it's a very large spectrum because, most of the time architecture, as I said, is aligned to a life-changing phenomena. Um, uh, the whole idea about somebody drawing a super stark line and it becomes a concept or a building is very mundane to express and appreciate that method of imagination, of the idea of innovation. It has to be intrinsic to the nature of analysis. It has to grow organic. It has to be, there's a lot of analytical thinking as to why what we do should be as what we can make it happen. Therefore, architecture is more an aligned phenomena. Innovation, drastically happens in the nature of technology, in the nature we live, in the nature of our habituation, in plumbing, sanitation, electrical, electromechanical services. But architecture has to sort of morph that idea and make it happen to make life more worthy to live, to life be more meaningful in its existentialism, more responsible, I think we are a nation which, gave the world Mahatma Gandhi. I think that says it all. His whole initiation to reduce, use, reuse, and rejuvenate use and recycle use, is so relevant today. We realize that we are the crux of the problem. The Homo sapiens are the problem. If we have 500 million people on this planet, less, I think will make the earth survive better, So therefore, it's very, very important for us to understand innovation in a very responsible way, rather than imagine, I remember, this one little anecdote about Adolf Loos. When he was going on the train, he looks at a mountain and looks at a hut and said, God made the world and God made the house. And then he looks at another mountain with a large, Corinthian villa, and he says, God made the world and man made the house. So that is the crux of the problem for us. We don't know how to align to what is existing. And the day we realize that experience and build better, I think innovation is absolutely, absolutely complete. Until then, I think what we think we are doing very, very unique is a farce. Every time you song and dance in some strange way, for the reason that you want to be innovative, you look like a fool. So it's important for us, therefore, to be responsible to the earth that we live with and to make it look better. Made Vijaya, a very famous architect, a very dear friend of mine, unfortunately, I lost him a couple of years ago. He used to always tell me, Ravi, don't make your buildings look like washing machines, It's so important that we have to feel the texture of how we build and breathe materials that we are aligned with, and we like to be as nature can be with us.
Thanks, Ravi, for explaining the experiential part of the architecture, which probably sometimes is lacking today when we see the urban landscapes all around, and probably the lack of responsibility as well. And yes, you did manage to, pack the large, large term of innovation into a small explanation for all of us, for the benefit of all of us. So thanks a lot for that. Sonali, I'm going to come to you next. And, we're talking about sustainability, and I'm sure you will love this question. So Sonali, we say good design is sustainable and great design is responsible. How do you interpret this and the role of sustainability in curating future?
I don't think she's there, Ashish.
We've lost her?
I think we've lost her. I
Oh,
cannot
okay.
see her. Can anybody else see her?
No, I can't see her.
Yeah, I think we've lost her.
Okay. So any of you would like to take this question? It's an interesting question. I think she want to talk about sustainability, but Santa, you want to go about it?
Can you repeat the question? I was busy looking for her face.
Sorry. Okay. So, we often say good design is sustainable, but great design is responsible, right? So, we would like to hear how do you interpret this, and then the role of sustainability in curating the future.
So I think sustainability is one of the parameters that makes responsible design. Okay, it is not the only parameter of good design. So it's but a small part of responsible design, and responsible design caters to so many things. It is if I go back to the earlier point, it is also upon the well-being of a person, how soon they reach office, wo gaadi kahan park karte hain, wo kitne jaldi apne office pahunchte hain. So there are so many factors that define architecture. I mean, so
Right.
I am a advocate of sustainable design, but not a vociferous advocate of sustainable design. I think it has its place, and we should give it its due. But architecture is much more than sustainable design and responsible design.
Responsible as well. Yeah. Yes. Mahesh, you want to come in and then, give your more than probably 100 cents on that?
Yeah, regarding the same question on interiors.
Right.
Those we've been very used to seeing places textured, having a hard finish up to 6 feet or 4 feet. It's a little technical, but I'm sure we all can visualize that much. Having hard finishes till 6 feet, 4 feet, and above that we had textured finishes. As far as banquets were concerned, as far as public spaces were concerned, as far as bathrooms, especially bathrooms, were concerned. What used to happen technically over here is those areas were prone to cobwebs and cleanup and a lot of maintenance. And even in the public spaces, I'm talking about the public urinals and everything, the hard finishes, sustainable finishes only lasted till 84 inches or 6 feet. Above that, it was left alone. Now, the whole tendering process is changing. There are two clubs in Bandra Khar, Otters and Kharjan Khana. where the sustainable bacteria-free finishes have been extended right till the ceiling. The lobbies, everything. There's a spec sheet coming from the committee asking for paneling and cladding right till the ceiling. This eliminates a complete paint job. This eliminates complete cobwebs. This eliminates completely breeding of any kind of insects or maintenance. Again, the demand for materials increases, but the material has to be cost effective, because going all the way to the ceiling in a wall paneling or a permanent finish changes the dynamics completely. So this is the new change which we have observed. Like if you
Right.
see in airplanes, there is no corners cut. The airplane walls are completely clad in the ABS or the WPS materials which we were talking about, because they don't have the time to clean up, maintain after every flight.
Absolutely.
So they are
Yeah.
done in such a way that it can make do with minimal management and housekeeping accordingly. Same thing is getting applied into interiors right now.
Yes, I think that's a very, very apt example you gave about the airplanes, and then we can't afford to actually, have material which can probably gather dust and then waste a lot of time and then cleaning it. We'll go to the next question. There is another question for you. You don't get to answer one less question since you took up this one. Okay, so Mahesh, we've been talking about smart homes. The concept of smart homes has been around for a while. We've been hearing about it. From here on, what is the role? How do you make them smarter? So we've seen a lot of innovations. How AI has sort of driven and come into our lives to make our homes smarter, rather smart. But then what are the ideas for smarter homes in future, and how technology is going to drive it? This is what we would like to hear from you.
Uh, Although it is my specialty and core subject,
Absolutely.
but for me, smart homes is what you don't do to the homes, rather than what you keep on
And
adding or
just
doing.
a second, the smart is not the sustainable smart, it's the smart.
Yes, we're talking about
Intelligent smart.
intelligent homes.
Yes, yeah.
So we are talking about smart homes, intelligent homes, voice controlled homes, mobile controlled heaters, hot water, cold water, chilled showers, your timing of driving home, and you're having the air conditioning on before you reach home, which is there in cars. I think everything comes from airplanes to cars and then to homes. This is my thumb rule, at least what I've studied past 20, 30 years of design. Everything starts with defense, then comes to commercial jets and airliners, then comes to cars, and then is incorporated into homes. So now if
You
you see,
forgot the offices. I think that's the work from home syndrome now.
बाबा मैं रेजिडेंशियल आदमी हूँ यार, मेरा पोल खोल रहे हो, you know I'm not as good as Sonali and these people at offices, but yes, offices also again. And homes,
Right.
people have a much more sentimental attachment and flair to really do it. They go the extra mile to spend, and these are the most premium products. Although Alexa and all has become hardly $30, $40, $50, it doesn't cost anything. But they were considered premium once upon a time. So just like I think recently I saw the Volkswagen ad that if his hands were full, he just swipes his foot below the bumper and the rear boot opens. Just 2 days back or something I saw that. All this technology is coming to homes. Your door locks, I'll go back to where I said. So smart is what you don't do. You have 3 generations living in the houses. Yes, we are getting cellular families, nuclear families, but you have 3 generations living in houses. So you do not only make your smart home depending on an iPad in the corridor. You give your physical TikTok switches as well. Because if there is a new house help, new domestic help, he or she does not know how to switch on and off the lights. She or he cannot go looking for an iPad. If your mom has arrived from overseas in the middle of the night and walked into the house, she cannot hunt for an iPad and figure out how to switch on the lights or walk into her room or find a way around. So automation or smart home does not mean doing away with TikTok switches. The basic TikTok switches, one for a curtain, one for a light, has to be there. Over and above that, the iPad does not replace the basic switches. iPad or your digital phone or your mobile device is an add-on feature in every room. The basic has to be there, then it is that. So again, like a car, if an automatic car self-drive is there, there has to be a manual override to it. You cannot say automatic, hey, it's a self-drive, I will never have a manual override. So these are the things which you don't do. 3 generations using the house. Kids,
Smart
the
mobile.
millennia. Sorry, come again, please, Shelja.
Smart mobile phones. You need a manual. With some people need a manual with that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And believe me, you try to give your mom or another senior citizen and tell her to type the keyboard on the screen on the TV and try to put her name across. She will absolutely not. So 3 generations when they use it, you've given the technology, it has to be versatile for all 3 generations. That is very important. Don't make a lot of people have, it's taking me time to educate them that smart is not complicating your life. And neither am I doing away with TikTok switches. 1 or 2 TikToks will be there, the rest will be the same. And a lot of people saying, why should I spend on switches when I've got an iPad, when I've got a mobile device? You can't. What if your mobile device is not charged and you walked into your house in the middle of the night? You're going to wait for it to charge, then switch on the lights. So these are the essentials of smart and automation. All the appliances are being smart enabled. Blender smart enabled, कुछ फायदे का नहीं है. Fridge smart enabled, sending you a message whether bhaji, kanda, karela is there or not is no use at all. We are not traveling 10 kilometers for our everyday groceries, and neither do we have an automatic system of it being delivered at home online or anything. We have a one-to-one interaction, or we have middlemen, middle persons who come delivered in the doorstep. The domestic help plays a very important role. The lifestyles change. So that doesn't mean if you're extremely wealthy and you really have a smart home, you're going to do away with domestic help. It's a very different environment over here. So smart fridge, smart blender, no use, smart kitchen appliances, the oven starting on its own at certain time. It would give me nightmares, believe me, if that happens. Samsung locks, some very good locks have come. At a certain time, only the main door lock will get unlocked. That too for the tuition teacher who can come, face recognition, and after that time, the access will go off. This lock costs 1 lakh rupees. If a person is leaving a child at home who's going for work, do you really think that person can afford a 1 lakh rupee lock? You know, obviously they are working parents, so that's why the child is there at home. And if they can afford a 1 lakh rupee lock, I'm sure they have domestic help.
Right.
So there are a lot of cliches in this. The technology is fantastic, but our desi lifestyles have not changed so much. Even though we've evolved, the growing middle class, everything, but these are some parameters which I really consider in smart automation. So every time there is a fantastic new heart-throbbing idea which you're drooling over, yaar, ye to lagane ka hi hai. I sleep over it and then think over, will it be useful in such and such situation? And then, because the clients love it. The clients love something. He saw something with a Tony Robbins chilled shower bucket, you know. It's a steel drum, 6 feet diameter inside his house, in Tony Robbins' house. And they said, we want that. I said, chilled bucket, it needs about 200-300 liters of water to fill up. And you can spend maximum 5 seconds inside it and you come out. So these things, I think a practical approach is required.
Right. Thanks, Mahesh. I think you answered it pretty well. Ultimately, we are smarter than the smart homes. That's what you meant.
Absolutely. And
Thanks a lot.
basics are covered. I think you're good.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to come to Santa now. And Santa, this is a sort of elementary question. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about how technology is sort of changing the way we design, you know, how it's influencing the practice of architecture. So your take on that, you know, how do you think it is? You see a lot of benefits, or is it something which is sort of crisscrossing how the free-flowing architects think? So your take on that.
No, so I definitely think that technology, in terms of design, just the design process, is bringing
Yes.
in a lot. to visualization of buildings, to how architects are exchanging designs. For example, if I just talk about computational design, how the softwares are helping us aggregate complex kind of forms, visualize those complex kind of forms. And once we are done with that, you can directly send that design to maybe a steel factory, and they will precisely cut those steel members as is required to the building and send it on your site. So, which eliminates a wastage a lot to a considerable extent, because it removes that human or a manual effort there. So the machines are visualizing, the machines are calculating, and the machines are delivering to site. To add to that, of course, it's a bit of an indulgent process right now, but I'm sure what is indulgent today becomes a necessity for tomorrow. So what is indulgent today is we are talking about robotic arms and robots who are building complex stadium structures. So you've seen the Beijing stadium, the Nest, and all of these things which were built by robots, because those kind of complex structures were impossible to be dealt by human beings. So that's where technology plays a very important part. It's not only helping us visualize those structures which we thought were unimaginable, the kind of 3D geometry and all that. Not only that, now it's making it easier for us to even construct that. Say 3D printing is coming in, so you can really design. Let's say if Gaudi was present in this day and age, the Barcelona building would have been constructed much sooner if it was done in 3D printing. So it was so much easier to do. So technology has really enabled us to build these fantasy structures. It may seem fantasy or it may seem indulgent, but I'm sure that that's the way forward.
A lot of advantages you see of technology coming into architecture.
Absolutely. And I'm not touching on wellness. I'm not touching on this. I'm just touching on design, and I'm just touching
we're
on
leaving sustainability apart now. No, that's interesting. I think I completely agree with you on that part. Yes, we can think beyond.
Yes.
Go beyond. So I think that's wonderful to hear your bit on that. So I'll bring Mr. Agarwal back into the discussion. Mr. Agarwal, you can hear me?
Yes.
So, Mr. Agarwal, we would like to hear from you that, how you were able to cater to the needs of the architects during this pandemic. And, do you provide customized solutions to your clients or architects? So we would like to hear a little bit about that from you.
Yes. A recent experience has been people have modified their workplace. Since the work from home culture is being developed and started, and in previously there was no need in the past of this trend, this culture. In future too, with family demographic changes, furniture designs, and ultimately utility will be changing. Considering this, we as a manufacturer, we are offering different colors, PVC boards, lead-free boards, which is light in weight, offers almost the same strength as in the conventional materials like plywood or timber. And moreover, we are also offering a latest product in the Indian laminate industry for the best interior product, which is the true replacement of veneer mem, which is the true replacement of natural veneer. And this will help the consumer to change the look within 24 hours. We are giving the guarantee that all the interiors can be changed 24 hours, and that too in 1/3 cost and with 20% workers. With the 20% manpower, it can be. Since the buying nature is changing, throughout the world and in our country too. Our countries have the highest youth population in the world, and they are more interested in buying online. Our whole product range is listed on the Amazon site. Our whole range is being listed at Amazon site. You can buy the product from the Amazon. Though it is picking up very slow, since in our industry the product people are not buying on the Amazon site, but we have listed our all products on the Amazon site also. Previously, our company was more into the dealer centric, but in this pandemic period, COVID period, we have changed some strategy, and we have tied up with some social media marketing and working more towards influencer community like you people. And a change pattern, since the world is whole changing, our country is changing, and we are also trying to change ourselves. This is the experience we have got.
Thanks so much, sir. Thanks for your response. Yes, I agree. Change is the only constant is, what we believe in, and we have to change as per the times.
Yes, we have to.
Shelja, I'll bring you into the discussion now, Shelja. And the question is that, you as company, you as organizations, what were the steps taken by you, to probably, go and tackle the situation which was created by pandemic? Anything in particular you guys did, any initiatives you took, to in during these tough times? Again, purely from the industry manufacturing perspective. We've already heard all the architects on the panel.
Yeah. So, as all the other panel members have mostly covered that, the concept of smart interiors and how the
Yeah.
world is changing, I would like to add firstly a point to what Mr. Mahesh had said about smart interiors. I feel I would like to add to what he said by saying that smart interiors is not always something that is technology driven. Every time it is something like a smartphone, we consider it a smartphone when it has a lot more technology and it can give you a lot more than probably Nokia normal handset. But I feel in terms of a smart home today in my viewpoint is something that can get ready quickly, that can because of COVID everybody has that fear of letting carpenters inside their house. They don't want to meet a lot of people, don't want to get in contact with a lot of people. But at the same time, as far as I am concerned, and I think most of the people, we all have never spent so much time at homes. Everybody had that kind of routine where they used to travel, where they used to go for meetings to different places, cities. But now that we've been staying at home for so long, I think in terms of smart interiors, people are now bored. They're actually bored of the monotonous interior, the same thing that they've been looking at. So in terms of smart interior, I feel it is something that can be easily installed, easily changed within a couple of hours or something, within a day or so. That should be termed as smart rather than something that is technology driven. Everybody has their own viewpoint. This is my viewpoint. And
Absolutely.
to address my viewpoint, we as a company, like our managing director already said, we have developed this one product that is named as exotic veneer. Like he mentioned, it is one of the smart products, if I may say. It is in inverted commas known as a smart product because it can transform your home within 24 hours. After I'm done speaking, I'll ask my tech team also to play that video, which was taken in our office. So basically, a corporate office in Gandhidham is going through renovation. We had put one actual veneer and one of our exotic veneer sheet to exactly see how long does it take for veneer to get put on a wall. It takes over a week because it goes through polishing, repolishing, and it is also hazardous to health. Like today, Mr. Mahesh had gone for that paint, and he is sneezing. He is not feeling well. When that polishing was happening in my office, I was also sneezing. But when you install a laminate, there's no health hazard that you need to go through. And COVID is, of course, even if we sneeze in front of anybody, everybody starts thinking it's COVID. So that all those health issues are being addressed by that product. That was something that our company did during this COVID period. We thought of something, our factory team, our factory heads, they thought of something that can be used by people, by architects, by end customer, within which can be replaced within hours, and that can be really transformation, that can really cause a great transformation. And I think this is one of the products that can really play a major role. And as far as you asked about what our company has done during this COVID period, like I told you, we did not take a day off. in fact, we worked more than before during this COVID period. So that addresses this. Even our sales team, which of course they could not go on field to meet architects, to meet dealers, but at the same time, they also attended a lot of webinars to upscale their skills in order to how to interact with premium architects like the panel members who are present here today, how to pitch their give their sales pitch better. So I think as our company as a whole did not take a day off, and we had put in a lot of effort, especially to make our entire range antibacterial and to develop this specific product that I just mentioned of. And I'll now request my tech team to please play the One Day Makeover challenge. So we call this video One Day Makeover challenge because within 24 hours you can make over your entire house with this exotic veneer sheet. So tech team, if you could please play the video.
This one day challenge, I'd like to add something. It's not totally true, whatever Shailja said. 24 घंटे बिल्कुल नहीं लगता है, 3 दिन लगते ही है। एक दिन पहले टेम्पो का टायर नहीं आया, दूसरे दिन पे मटेरियल टाइम पे नहीं पहुंचता है, फिर ड्राइवर नहीं आता है, फिर मटेरियल लगता है, उसके बाद वाले दिन साहब आज त्योहार है, आज हम सफाई के लिए नहीं आएगा। लेकिन इतना इंपीरियल लैमिनेट एक दिन में लग के इनको ब्राउनी पॉइंट्स मिल जाते हैं, बाकी सब हम लोग को डील करना पड़ता है।
I thought I almost bought into the one day challenge. About to ask her if they
हमारे
have
लिए वो
this.
पहले का एक दिन और बाद का भी एक दिन गिन के चलने का, हम लोग को खाली
I was about to ask her if they have this service in Bangalore and pass on the contacts and I'll.
वो तो विनियर में भी गिनना पड़ेगा सर।
वो तो फिर 17, वो 3 + 15 हो जाता है। Then that is 3 + 15 days. So that 15 का आप 1 कर रहे हो, लेकिन वो 3 बहुत जरूरी है।
तो विनियर का भी आपको डेज बढ़ाना पड़ेगा।
वही बोला ना, 18 versus 3, but 24 नहीं है definitely. 24 hours नहीं है। 18 days versus 3 days. Realistic figures.
Thanks, Mahesh, for bringing this aspect of time into it, the realistic aspect of time. So we have a couple of questions from the audience as well. Mahesh, there is a question specifically to you. I'll take some of the questions. I think we're almost running out of time. So before we close the discussion, Mahesh, the question is, does this mean that we're looking forward for more smoother finishes in material rather than coarse textures? I think this was probably during, I think, one of your earlier discussions you had mentioned. So I think the question is context to that. I think which you've already answered. Then in case you still want to take it up.
I think very clearly answered.
All right.
If
yeah.
he has any query, definitely I'd like to answer.
Definitely. I'm just trying to take all the questions. Yes. So there's another question from Madhusudan Rao. The world is moving towards digital. Most of the homes became offices. How would be the new norm in future for homes, home office, work from home? So, Ravi, are you still around? Would you want to take this up? Okay, Santa, you want to take this up?
Since nobody's around, either Mahesh or we will take it up. So, what are
Appreciate
the
all your time and making this evening wonderful. Yes.
so
Last
what was
question.
the question? Sorry, uh, I seem to miss the question in looking for where people are.
So the question is the world is moving towards digital, more of homes becoming offices. How would be the new norm in future for homes, home office, work from home? So they want to know about new norm. I think a lot of
Oh,
norms changing. So yeah, a lot of
uh,
discussions around that.
very honestly, I think I have reached a stage where I think this whole COVID thing has totally, inundated us everywhere it is. I feel as if COVID is here to stay. And I just want to say it's going to go. And I really think
Absolutely.
that we will return to our normal lives, like how we used to go to offices. I really don't
Absolutely.
like working from home. Honestly, it's a big disturbance. Oh, I want to go to my office, my dedicated space, my dedicated time. So this is a very temporary phase, and we all will have to just learn to live through this temporary phase without thinking that this is going to stay for the next 25 years. I really don't think so. So I don't think we should
500%.
we don't think we should define norms and all.
Absolutely.
कोई नहीं है, let's
There's
say
no
permanent
point.
ये जाएगा. There's no point really. Really.
No, I completely agree with you. 200% agree with you. You won't believe, when the lockdown was lifted here in Bangalore, I think I was the first one to probably, walk into the office. This was probably first week of June. So I've been actually working from office for last 3-4 months and absolutely safe, absolutely fine. It's all about, I think, following social distancing and all of that. And
Absolutely.
like you said, I think another 6-8 months, definitely,
A
we will be
year,
out of it.
2 years, whatever. Even if it gets
Yeah,
2 years, but beyond that, it's not going to consume our life.
right,
We will
In
have
absolutely.
to
addition,
get
I'd
back.
like to answer to Balaji's question. See, all of us have also adapted to it, which we did not. Whoever believed we never work from home, all of us have made a cozy
Adapted.
nook in our homes itself, where we
Absolutely.
have
Exactly.
our sitting space, and we've somewhat uh, duplicated the office ambience and give our time there. Shuru mein it was chai, coffee, everything happens with this thing. Kids were around the place. Now they know when you're in your room, okay, you need some isolation, and we developed that thing. Work from home didn't work initially, especially for us Indians, which we've never done it before.
Right.
And slowly we started adapting work from home, then created a secluded place where we could dedicate that area, and then from a luxury recliner to a lounger, it became an upright chair because work doesn't happen from a recliner or a lounger. So I think we
Absolutely.
all adapted to that, and we all have our own workplace in our places. Our tablets are updated, our cameras are updated, our mobiles are updated, upgraded rather. And everybody's really met the requirement of the technology, the way it's required, audio, equipment, hardware. I think we evolved. We actually evolved with that.
Absolutely.
I'd
Completely
like to
agree.
add, I'd like to, so I think one of the norms that has come in is everybody has, Mahesh rightly said, has adapted to technology and, Zoom calls and Skype calls. That one of the norms that would definitely set in is that clients do not call us at the drop of a hat for a meeting. Pehle we used to travel an hour for a 15-minute meeting and travel back. Now, I think the new norm would be, can we do this over a simple
Over a
video call?
call.
Can it solve and
Absolutely.
make life simpler? Can we save that travel time and make life better? So maybe that's
Absolutely.
a very small snippet of improvement that would, come in.
Acha, I'm going to be the devil's advocate over here. In contrary to all this, I went for my first outstation meeting after, I think, 8 months, which was last week. Uh, the energy, the enthusiasm, the one-to-one personal touch is not replaceable.
That
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree.
When I met the client, it was very weird. She's saying, come meet. It's in Cochin, it's 2 hours away. There's a whole procedure of formalities to be done in the flights and everything. Then usually it would be flyback same day. There were no flights coming back same day. So it was compulsory overnight stay, even if your work is done, not done. And the pace was very different. But the energy exchange on the meeting, seeing the premises, seeing the plot, seeing the entry exit points of the cars, movement, traffic flow is not replaceable. physically the way you meet things and take it on forward cannot be done on a camera or a Zoom call, even though she had drone photography, everything she sent a month back. But the physical verification of a site was a completely different thing. Especially when Santa, she does more of architectural things. I still do smaller interior detailed projects. She's more on a macro scale. The feel of the place, the feel of the environment, everything is completely different when you go on site.
Absolutely.
And interact with the client. You actually get the pulse of the
200%
client.
agree. 200% agree with you, both of you. Yes, I don't think we can avoid site visits. If there's something happening, is there a problem? You still have to go and sort that out.
That one
Yes, we
single
can.
site visit was required, but it was a completely different dynamics altogether compared to.
Absolutely.
Although we've been working on the project past 1 month, but that one site visit changed the scenario completely. And obviously, the Marriott buffet, which is still not allowed in Bombay, was fantastic.
I'm surprised it's not allowed in Bombay.
It's
All right.
not, believe me. That was the first restaurant meal we had in 10 months.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right. I think I would like to thank all the panelists for making this discussion wonderful, lively, enlightening, all of us. I'm sure all the audience. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you. Thank you, Santa.
Thank you.
Rakesh ji and Shailaja, thanks to both of you. Wonderful evening, wonderful discussion. We would like to connect, once again. And thanks to all the audience for their patience, listening to all of us, and sitting through the whole conversation. Sushant, I would like to hand it over to you from here now.
Thank you so much to all the viewers, to all our eminent panelists for such an insightful session. We thank Amulya Maika for their association, and we look forward for many such associations in future as well. Thank you so much, Ashish ji, for moderating this session, and all the eminent panelists to taking their time out. Thank you all, and take care. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Namaskar.